Hello everyone, welcome to my spoiler talk for Captain America the Winter Soldier. So this movie starts off in a really weird way, because we start with a black man running. Now that's a weird way to start off a Captain America movie. However, it is always good to promote exercise, but let's see where this is going. And then we hear the line, "On your left." We heard it like 3 or 4 times. And the person who is the black man running is actually Sam Wilson, aka Future Falcon. But he is basically running with Captain America. And they have a nice conversation because Falcon used to be in the military. Cap obviously used to be in the military. So they kind of have that same life experience that they can kind of talk about, where it's like, so how does it feel being back in the real, in peace times? And then Cap is like, yeah, it's a bit weird, but I do like the fact that, not everyone is trying to kill me and stuff like that. And, food's better. We used to boil everything. And then out of nowhere, Falcon is just like, it's your bed, right? Your bed, it's too soft, so it feels like you're just floating away because you used to sleep on the ground. I like that. A nice little interaction with the two of them. I also like how they just don't know each other, yet they've been running with each other for like what seems like hours. Like the whole of the very early morning and also basically into the afternoon. At least that's what it feels like they've been running. And then at the end it's like, by the way, I'm Steve Rogers. Like, yeah, I knew. It's like, wait, you didn't even introduce? Okay, sure, whatever. Anyway, then we have Black Widow who pulls up. And it's like, I'm here to pick up a fossil. So Captain America gets into the car and, we'll see Falcon later on. Don't you worry about that one. So we have Team Cap, or Strike Team as they're called. But I like to call Team Cap. I'll call them Strike when they're revealed to be Hydra, okay? But Team Cap needs to rescue this shield ship who was trespassing in enemy territory. So Cap goes down there. He just jumps out of the jet, which is like, is he wearing a parachute? And it's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, he's Cap. So he goes to the water. He basically takes care of almost everyone until the end when one guy puts a gun towards Cap and gets shot by someone else. And it's like, thanks. Like, yeah, you really look like you needed the help. Also, throughout the whole opening part of the movie, is it just me or does the shield look wrong? Because on the outer side, it doesn't have the red stripe. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So we basically infiltrate the ship in order to rescue the shield agents. And I really like that. I love this sequence. Because in this sequence, you have like a lot of really cool, just like, it's silent. There's a couple of jokes here and there, like Black Widow's trying to set Captain America up throughout the whole movie with someone. Meanwhile, the one that Captain America actually wants is basically a fossil back at the nursing home, I guess. But we do get some jokes, but overall, it's like, like the hits feel like they actually hit. Captain America kicks one guy off the ship like miles away. I mean, it's an honor to be kicked by Captain America, but I don't know if that guy is gonna survive swimming all the way back. But eventually we get to the hostages. We rescue the hostages. And then Batroc the Leaper fights against Captain America. Where I like that Cap just puts the shield away, but I don't get why he had to take off the helmet. Is it just me? Like, he could have just kept that on, right? And Black Widow was actually doing a side mission from Nick Fury to get all the intel from that ship. So Cap isn't too happy about that. Batroc throws a grenade. Cap grabs Black Widow and saves her. But we did it. We saved the hostages and everyone's happy. So back home, we have Cap, who's a bit angry at Nick Fury. And then Nick Fury's like, oh, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. And I was like, that is a really cool line the first time I watched it. And every other time I rewatched this movie, I was like, that is a really cool line. Then in 2019, something happened. And from this point onwards, I'm just like, that Cat did that. The one that you didn't that you trusted was like, Cat. Come on, man. It's just, it takes the coolness away. But it's just something so dumb. But Cap is mad at Fury about the fact that he did not really let Cap in and on the full mission. And then the Fury's just like, yeah, well, everyone has the pieces. Everyone gets a piece in case stuff happens. But Fury then takes Captain America down. And they have a nice elevated conversation. Captain America's like, they used to play music in here. But they go down and Fury shows him Project Insight. Which I like the one reference about Stark. Where it's like, yeah, hey, Tony Stark upgraded these after he got an up close and personal look at our last ones. But when Fury explains this project, Cap ain't too happy about it. Because Fury is basically like, alright, this will be able to annihilate all enemy threats before they can ever happen. And it's like, Cap is just like, I thought the punishment happened after the crime. It's like, yeah, we can't wait that long. And Cap is immediately against this, and I'm like, that's Cap, dude. That is Captain America. No matter how you look at it, that is Captain America. as Captain America as you can be. So he's not too happy about that. He leaves, goes to the museum in order to, you know, I guess relive the glory days of, I don't know, himself. There's one kid. I also like how in the MCU, when you need to go incognito, when you need to go stealth mode, unrecognizable, all they do is they put on a hat and they're unrecognizable. Sometimes they even put on a hoodie or put on glasses. And that's it. No one will know it's you. But he goes to that museum, he checks it out, then goes to a kid who notices that, hey, it's Captain America, because a baseball cap doesn't hide your identity. And afterwards, Cap goes to the hospital to visit his old lady. Literally, old lady. Peggy Carter. And man, the prosthetics that they did on her, my goodness, she looks really old, actually. I like the interaction the two of them have, because, to be honest, she's the only one that he can talk to. The problem is, she has a bit of dementia. Also, we get a little bit of an... I misquoted her in other videos, I think. I've always kind of misquoted her, because the internet has misquoted her, and I kind of took that quote from the internet. Because she says, like, I thought she said, I met my husband during the war. No, what she says is, Captain America saved a bunch of people, like the 47th Infantry, and among them was what would later become my husband. So Agent Carter doesn't really ruin any continuity here yet. But I wanted to make sure that that misquote was actually fixed, so I have fixed it now. But Peggy is, she loses her memory from time to time. So that's the problem. Because she starts to cough a lot. And then when she's done, and Cap is holding like a glass of water to her, she's like, Steve! Is that you? You're alive! I like how Cap just goes, he goes with it. He's like, I couldn't leave my girl, could I? She still owes me a dance. I was like, oh, what a good man. Meanwhile, Fury is trying to use the, trying to see the data on the USB that Widow got from the ship. However, it is locked. And if you're wondering by who, it's Fury. Fury locked it for Fury for some reason, which is weird. However, Fury then gets a little bit of a, he gets a bit suspicious. So he goes upstairs to Alexander Pierce, which is where we get the introduction to our villain of the movie. But let's be honest here, he is not the main bad guy. Hydra is the bad guy of this movie, which is why the villain works in this movie, because it's not like one guy really at all. It's just the whole organization. S.H.I.E.L.D's been infected. Which reminds me of Starset. So Alexander Pierce is talking to the World Council, and they aren't really all that happy with stuff. But then Pierce gets, someone tells Pierce, like, hey, Fury's here for you. So Fury, so he goes over to Fury's like, really? Just a ship being stolen. That's what all of that is what I have to do to just get you to come up here for once in your life. And then Fury's like, yeah, okay, Project Insight should be delayed. It should be delayed. It seems like that's the best course of action, because I think there's going to be a little bit of a problem if we launch it now. And then Pierce is like, all right, make sure that Iron Man appears at my kid's birthday party and actually mingles, and you got yourself a deal. It's like, all right, cool. Meanwhile, we have Captain America, who visits afterwards the VA where Falcon works. I'm just gonna call him Falcon. And we learned that he lost a partner, and he was like a paraglider, or whatever you call himself. And I do like how he helps veterans from the war kind of deal with being out of the war. Because if you live for a while in Warland and you have to go back to normal civilization, it's gonna look really weird. Meanwhile, Fury is driving somewhere, and he calls up Maria Hill, and he's like, I need you here now. And she's like, I'll be there in 4 hours. And then he's like, make it 3. And drives, stops, and a cop car stops next to him. And they're both looking at Fury. And Fury expects this to be a wee bit racist, because some people are indeed racist. Not all cops, but sadly enough, some cops. So the cops drive, then Fury drives, and then another cop car comes, hits Fury, and then he gets surrounded by like 4 cop cars, and it's like, where did these people come from? But these are all Hydra agents, because the AI in the car says to Fury like, alright, the cops aren't supposed to be here. So they're trying to kill Fury, or at least take him down. I don't know if they actually want to kill him. But Fury, like, they're banging. They got one of those, like, hitting machines in order to break open, like, a door or a window. So they're using that on the window, and then when it's at 1%, Fury starts to shoot everyone, and then drives away. And we get this really cool car chase. That I also found a little bit smart. I mean, Fury doesn't care, but let's be honest here. This was just Samuel L. Jackson. This had nothing to do with Marvel. Samuel. Samuel Jackson is just like this on the road because he's like, get out of my way. Hey, move. But he basically just bumps into other people, gets them out of the way, hits cars into bad guys, and then drives away until we get the introduction of the main villain of this movie. Now, I will say this. I didn't talk about him during the review. I did put up a little image and said like that the Winter Soldier was felt like a threat. He does. But I couldn't talk about him. I can't talk about his actor, and I can't talk about him at all in this movie because Sebastian Stan portrayed Bucky, which technically means you can put 2 and 2 together. I mean, it's not that difficult, but I don't want to spoil that. But yeah, we have the Winter Soldier who then attacks Fury, but Fury makes a escape all the way to Steve Rogers' house. That's great. So Cap goes home. We meet his neighbor who is the supposed nurse, which is Shannon Carter, aka Peggy Carter's niece. But she'll become more important later on. Won't you, power broker? But she's like, hey, you left your stereo on. He says to her like, oh yeah, thanks. Thanks for telling me. And then in his brain, he's like, wait a minute, I didn't. So he goes outside, climbs up, and goes in through the window. Grabs his shield and sees that Fury is right there. And Fury makes up this bullshit story like, I got kicked out by my wife. And it's like, huh. Turns on the light, sees Fury completely damaged. And then Fury's like, on his phone. Ears everywhere, and also the fact that shield is compromised. Who else knows about your wife? Only my close friends. And on his phone is like, you and me. And I also like this because it truly shows how much Fury trusts Captain America. However, the bad guys still now know that Fury is in Cap's apartment. So Fury gets shot and presumably potentially killed. Shannon Carter then comes in and she's like, I'm Agent 13. Cap, you okay? Cap! And it's like, who put you on? And it's like, I'm your bodyguard. My brain immediately went, you're a blonde woman being the bodyguard of Captain America. What? He doesn't need no bodyguard. He's Captain America. He's Captain America. You don't give Captain America a bodyguard. And he's like, whose orders? And then she's like, him. It points to Fury. So, Cap goes after the Winter Soldier. He breaks through all the doors that are there, dent in the wall. I love this chase. Then jumps out the window, throws his shield, but the Winter Soldier catches it and throws it back and vanishes. So he's gone now. So in the hospital, they're trying to revive Fury, but he dies, sadly enough. R.I.P. the boy. Yeah, it's a bit sad. I mean, I was actually kind of expecting them to kill Fury when I saw this movie at theaters, because when I go to a movie, I usually forget the trailers, like the stuff that happened in the trailers. So if in the trailer Fury had a scene that wasn't in the movie, either one, that could be for later on in the movie, or two, that could be cut from the movie. So I don't know, but I thought he was maybe dead, because in order to add stakes to this movie, like, oh my god, they killed Fury. Everyone is sad about it. Rumlow comes in and is like, hey Cap, we need you're needed back at Shield. But Cap still has the Fury gave Cap the USB drive, so he still has that. So he puts it in the vending machine. Really smart place to hide that thing, and goes with Rumlow. And appears, basically, he says something about Fury that doesn't really line up with Captain Marvel, but you can kind of excuse, because he had these, like, glass eyes before he kept his regular eye, I guess. At least if you watch the ending of Captain Marvel, in there he gets like a box full of eyes. So to anyone who's like, wait, Fury has 2 eyes in that scene, and maybe makeup to cover up the scratches, I don't know. But he basically tells a story about Fury, and he also asks Cap, like, why was Fury at your apartment? Then he also reveals that Fury was the one who hired Batroc the Leaper in order to attack the ship. And it's a bunch of things where it's just like, oh, Garrett, this ain't looking good. I mean, Fury said trust no one, but Fury also hired the bad people in order to hijack a ship. Uh-oh. Who to believe? So Cap kind of stays to himself, which I like about that. He just is like, no, I'm gonna trust, like, I'm not gonna say anything. Trust no one is still in effect. We're gonna keep that one, okay? So Cap leaves. However, as he's leaving, he gets attacked by Strike, his own strike team. Because, you know, Hydra kind of is like, I like the elevator, because we get the famous elevator sequence. He gets to the elevator, some people walk in, but you got one guy who's like clenching his weapon, where it's like, you're a dumbass, aren't you? They got someone else coming in, and he's sweating, and nothing looks good. So Captain America's just like, alright, before you start, does anyone want to get off? And it's like, that is such a Captain America thing to do. But he then takes care of the whole elevator full of people. And it's like, my goodness. So the elevator stops, and we get a bunch of soldiers outside. So Cap cuts the cables, knowing that the elevator will stop itself eventually. Emergency brakes. Opens up the doors, sees that a bunch of guys are coming, closes the doors back up, and then jumps out the window. And then hits the ground. It's like, my goodness. Then afterwards, I guess he went over to the garage, grabbed the bike, and drove out. Then brakes with the bike in order to jump on top of a jet, and then destroys the jet. Also, something that I noticed is the fact that it's like, when Cap throws his shield, it looks like it bounces off the two, I don't know what you call those things, but it bounces off two things. And I always thought it shot further, but it kind of looks like after the second one, it kind of just goes up and down. So Cap grabs the shield, lands, and then leaves. Goes back to the hospital to grab the flash drive. However, it's gone. And the same goes for the bubblegum. But then Black Widow walks up with bubblegum in her mouth. And basically we get a little bit more of a backstory on the Winter Soldier at this point. And we also get the name reveal. But Widow basically says that back in the day she had an encounter with the Winter Soldier. However, she wanted to protect someone, and the Winter Soldier killed him through her. So he shot both of them and he died, basically. And then Capra is like, alright, what's on the drive? And Black Widow doesn't know, but now we have Black Widow on the team as well. Fantastic. So now the council is mad about everything and wants Project Insight immediately deployed. And this, I guess, goes into Pierce's favor. And Black Widow and Captain America, they go to a store, a computer store, in order to use that in order to get the info on the drive. However, they have 9 minutes to get this whole thing done. So she's going through, but she can't crack the drive. So instead, what she does, she goes to where the files originated from, and they are in New Jersey. So we now have a location. So now we walk out, and we need to be able to stealthily make it past everyone. And I love Black Widow in this sequence because she knows how to be a spy. So she's like, put your arm around me and laugh at something I said. Alright, kiss me. Because public display of affection makes people awkward. And in my mind, I was like, are you sure you just don't want to say that you've kissed Captain America? Because that's a pretty big brag. I kissed Captain America. But so he kisses her, but they eventually make it out, and they start driving over there. And it's like, wow, Captain America the thief, I borrowed this vehicle, okay? We'll give it back when we're done. So they arrive at the location, because when Cap learned the location, he immediately recognized it, because it's the old training camp where Captain America was before he became, you know, big and muscular and Captain America-y. And so Black Widow is a bit disappointed by this, because like there's nothing here. They must have used a basically like they must have used like a signal pinger where it's like it pings from one to another location, but this was not the real location. The Cap looks around, it's like, no, actually this is the right place, because of the fact that the munitions are not supposed to be stored within 500 yards from the barracks. Then goes inside of that place, and it's like, oh hey, look, we have original shield. And then we have a secret elevator, and the Cap is like, why would you need a secret elevator in a secret location? Makes no sense. So he goes down the elevator. There's old computers, and Widow is like, this doesn't, the technology is so ancient, there's no way this came from here. However, then there's like this USB port, which I found funny, because it's just like you got this whole old tech, and then you get the USB port. So she puts it in. The computer's like, do you want to start? And she types in yes. And then we have Zola's back, baby. And also, I'm gonna do continuity with Agent Carter, because at the end of season 1 of Agent Carter, the bad guy, whose name I forgot, Fanoff. But at the end of season 1 of Agent Carter, Fanoff was put in the same cell as Zola. And Fanoff has a lot of brain experience. And Zola is like, I would like to know your brain experience. Like your nah. And so, my guess is with the help of Fanoff, Zola was able to put himself into a computer. That's my headcanon, and I don't care what you say about it, but that's my headcanon. But Zola basically talks about how he got here, outside of mentioning Agent Carter, but he's basically like, yay. After the war, the Americans recruited Hydra people, and that's how the Hydra infection started inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. Zola kind of infected S.H.I.E.L.D., and that infected more and more and more, until, I don't know, 50% of S.H.I.E.L.D. is now Hydra as well. which is a really cool concept that they should totally explore in a TV series called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I don't know if that's canon. I would love to review Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe when I'm done with all of the MCU, I'll review the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Or maybe I'll just, I actually don't know. But I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. At least its first 4 seasons. Because the first 4 seasons fit into the MCU perfectly. And then season 5 kind of goes out there, and the season 6 and 7 don't mention anything from stuff that was supposed to happen. But basically the whole explanation is to say that yes, Hydra is now within S.H.I.E.L.D. That's how it happened. And also I've been stalling you, and there's now a jet flying over and shoots the building. Cap opens up a hole in the floor and grabs Widow, goes down there, holds up his shield to protect her, and then they both escape. Meanwhile, the Winter Soldier appears at Alexander Pierce's place, and sadly enough, the maid gets shot, which was entirely undeserving. But hey, she gets shot. Sad though. And this kind of confirms even more that Pierce is also Hydra. Because while Hydra has infected S.H.I.E.L.D., it was never officially stated that Pierce was Hydra until this sequence. And there you go. Also, during Zola's explanation, we get an explanation of what happened to Bucky. Basically, the experiments that Zola did on Bucky in Captain America: The First Avenger is how he survived the fall. Afterwards, they took him, they basically wiped his memory and froze him, and each time they unfroze him in order to do a mission and then freeze him back up for when they need him later on. But now they can't. This is what we'll learn later on, but I'll say it right now. They can't do it right now because of the fact that he's been unthought for too long, or that they've done it too much. So it's like, we can't do it anymore, but also you don't really need to do it anymore. So Cap and Widow go to Falcon, and in order to they're like, yeah, hey, look, everyone that we know is trying to kill us. And the Falcon's like, not everyone, get in. They kind of freshen up in the bathroom, and then Falcon just drops a folder in front of them and is like, this is my resume. It's like, I thought you were a pilot. Never said I was a pilot. Project Falcon. So now he joins the team, and they try to figure out who is part of this, because Fury hired Batroc to go to the ship. Who was on that ship? Sitwell. Sitwell's Hydra. So they use him in order to kind of get more information. So they go over him, where we also learn that the senator from Iron Man 2 is also Hydra. Surprisingly enough. They didn't even have to do that, to be honest. But I just never liked him, so I'm happy that they did this. Now I have another reason to not like this. So they kidnap... so basically, Sitwell gets a call from Alexander Pierce. Turns out it's Falcon. How did he do that? Nobody knows. And basically, they kidnap Sitwell. They try to get information, but Captain America almost throws him off the building. But it's like, Cap won't do that. It's like, nope, but Widow will. So Black Widow kicks him off the building. Falcon catches him, and then he spills all the beans. A project inside was made by Hydra in order to eliminate targets that could be a threat to Hydra. You know, like the Avengers, for example. Or Stephen Strange, which is someone that they mention, but at this point in time, he won't be an actual threat for another 2 years. He is literally just a doctor. He is the best doctor in the world, but he's a doctor. How is that a threat to Hydra? But that is obviously when this movie came out, that was obviously a reference to actual Doctor Strange. But basically, it's gonna kill every target of Hydra. It's like, how do you know which target to kill? It's like, oh hey, voting records, the places you spend money, the people that you vote for, your internet search history, all of that stuff, your SAT scores, all of that will be compiled by an algorithm and then determine whether you are with us or against us. So the main gang goes to try and stop it, and they also use they take Sitwell with them, but then they get attacked by the Winter Soldier, and then we have this big shootout where at one point there's a guy with a machine gun just shooting a bus. We have this whole fight with the Winter Soldier, and I like that they use like real world stuff in order to kind of get the upper hand on certain things. Like Black Widow, she jumps off a bridge, uses shoots like a rope from her arm, and then uses that in order to safely land under the bridge. Meanwhile, Winter Soldier goes to the other side of the bridge and tries to shoot Captain America. But because of the sun, Black Widow sees Winter Soldier standing, so she starts shooting him from below. I like that. And also she has a pre-recorded message. She plays it down in order to distract him. He blows that up, and then she attacks him from behind. I love that stuff. And she does a move that I think she actually repeats in Civil War as well. So, when we have this big fight, Captain America, basically the Captain America team take almost everyone out. But then we have Cap versus Winter Soldier. We got this really cool fight where they match each other almost perfectly. And then Cap grabs Winter Soldier, throws him over his shoulder. However, Captain America grabbed his mask, so that falls off. And it's like, it's Bucky! Surprise reveal. That is not surprising at all. Because the moment that this series, like the moment that it was called Captain America the Winter Soldier, people were like, I wonder who the Winter Soldier is. I know, I was one of them. And it's like, it's Bucky! So we all knew that, but it's a shocker for Captain America because his best friend was dead. Because also, at the beginning of the movie, Black Widow asks Cap, what are your plans this weekend? And he's like, well, all my friends from the barbershop quartet are dead, so guess I'm free. And it's like, here he is, the best of best friends that Cap can have, mind controlled by the enemy. So this basically makes Cap kind of give up. He just stops fighting because he's so perplexed. Like he's like, Bucky, that's my best friend. They've taken him. And then they all get taken. However, because of the fact that there's a news helicopter above them, Cap is lucky that he didn't get shot in the head. Otherwise, he would have been shot in the head. But the guy's like, not here, not here. We'll get to a safe place. So they get thrown into the back of a truck. They drive off. However, in the back of the truck is also Maria Hill. So she takes out the other guy and is like, all right, let's go. They escape. They meet Fury, who is lying on a sick bed, and he's just like, finally, what took you so long? So Fury wants so now we know that Fury's alive. All right. Now Fury wants to save S.H.I.E.L.D., but take out Hydra. Cap is like, nah, this is my mission, dude. We're taking them all out. S.H.I.E.L.D., Hydra, it all goes. And in the beginning, also, one of the Russo brothers is in this scene playing the doctor. Anyway, Fury's like, are you guys in agreement that about destroying S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra? And everyone's like, yep. And Fury's like, well, guess you're in charge, Cap. And also, this will have massive repercussions for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show if it's canon, which if they get the actors from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back in here for like a future movie or show, an easy fix in order to canonize it. You can even just say it's the first 4 seasons that are canon, because not the whole show can be canon. Because there are big problems. Because Season 6 ignores the whole snapping that happened. And Season 5, the world gets destroyed. But before, like, it's so weird. They go to the future, but the world's destroyed. And Daisy was gonna destroy the world. But then they go back in time and they save it. Like I said, it's very weird. You can explain it by them going, in a sense, through the multiverse into another universe. An alternate universe where Daisy actually did destroy the Earth, but I don't know. But Season 6 and 7 cannot be canon at all. I mean, technically 7 could, but 6 can't because the snap happened and you don't reference that. Big thing. We are 1 year after the snap, but it didn't happen. Anyway, back to this movie. After we have the plan, we also have a flashback with Cap where he and Bucky just came back from Cap's mom's funeral, and Bucky basically helps him out, grabs the key in order to open up his door, talks to him, and you just once again see what good of a friendship they have and how much it impacts. However, Falcon that comes in is like, hey, you might have to kill him. And Cap's like, I don't think I can do that. So they suit up. However, Cap doesn't have a suit. So he goes to the Smithsonian in order to steal the suit. And Stanley works there, RP the legend. So we go over to S.H.I.E.L.D., or Hydra, in order to stop them. So Cap and Falcon basically have the mission in order to take a chip out of each of the helicarriers and put a new one in, so that Maria Hill can take control of them and make them blow each other up. Black Widow has infiltrates as a councilwoman, which I actually thought was pretty cool. The fact that she infiltrates as a councilwoman, I thought it was cool. So that means that they got in contact with one of the council members, the World Council, because they arrive here too. Most of them die, except for the one that Black Widow saves by impersonating her. But it's Cap and Falcon's job in order to disable the things. So we basically infiltrate the communications place anyway, and Cap basically gives the whole rundown. He's like, look, people are Hydra in here. Hydra has infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D., and even some of your best friends, or person maybe standing right next to you, could be Hydra. One thing I know for certain, the inside crew is Hydra, the strike team is Hydra, and Alexander Pierce is also Hydra. And outside of that, anyone could be Hydra. So Cap and Falcon basically go to do their mission while Maria holds down the communications fort. And from there, she will also be able to blow up the Project Inside. And Black Widow then reveals herself as being the council member and basically takes control from Pierce. And then Fury arrives in this helicopter, walks out, and then it's like, oh, hey, because in order to put all the files on the internet, basically, dump them all on Reddit, they need the retinal scan of 2 high level people. And Pierce is like, don't you think we have like thrown your stuff off? And Fury's like, well, you gotta keep both eyes open. So he uses a secret one with his other eye, in order, which I guess nobody knows about, in order to get the clearance. Done. Now all the secrets are out there. Cap is fighting on helicarrier number 1, while Falcon tries to go for number 2, but it doesn't really work. He gets on top, starts shooting some people, and then a big plane comes up. This is also where it's like, how do we know the good guys from the bad guys? Well, if they're shooting at you, they're the bad guys. It's like, alright, I found these bad guys you're talking about. That kind of stuff. Then a plane appears and starts shooting Falcon. So Falcon jumps off and he starts flying around in order to try and lose the thing. But then that thing shoots rockets. And Falcon used that as a way to get in. So Cap gets number 1, Falcon gets number 2, and then Cap is like, I need a lift to number 3. So Falcon grabs Cap and brings him over to number 3. However, at this point, the Winter Soldier also comes into play. He takes out a couple of shield people. I like how at one point it's like one guy wants to throw a grenade, but Bucky takes him out, or Winter Soldier takes him out, grabs the grenade, and right as the door of the plane is closing, he throws it in there, blows up the plane with the guys in it. He kicks one guy into the propeller of one of the planes, which is such a brutal death. The only thing we were missing was like blood splatters everywhere, but that's so brutal. He kicked him in there, and then he steals another plane in order to go after Captain America. So Cap and Falcon arrive on the plane, on the 3rd helicarrier, and Falcon is like, my goodness, you're heavy, and he's like, I had a big lunch. And then Winter Soldier attacks the both of them, rips off a wing from Falcon and kicks him off. And Falcon is able to save himself with a parachute. And also he kicked Cap off. However, Cap's still on, but he's just lower. So Cap goes in order to stop the thing. Meanwhile, we have Falcon, who gets word that Rumlow, who will later be known as Crossbones, is close by. So Falcon goes after him, and they have a little bit of a fight. Meanwhile, Captain America goes after the thing, but fights the Winter Soldier as well. He's also like, dude, Bucky, we were best friends. Come on, man. He tries to break through to him. And if I have a small complaint, I kind of wish that he tried a little bit harder in order to... I wish that they had like an extra scene or two, just a little bit, of like him just trying harder to get Bucky to snap out of the whole mind control stuff. So we have a big fight. I also like how they once again match each other, but Bucky, Winter Soldier this time is smart because he has 2 guns. He shoots Cap, but Cap blocks it each time with the shield. They go down and up. However, then Winter Soldier puts it in both places. So Cap protects his face and gets shot on the side. They try to fight each other, but mainly Cap tries to get the chip and keep that thing safe from Bucky, which is funny because all Bucky had to do is smash it up and it's done. Because he has it in his hand at one point, and Cap then just like basically puts him in a hold for him to let go. Kind of chokes him out in order for him to let go. But it's like all Bucky had to do was crush it and the plan would have failed. But Cap eventually makes it work, barely, obviously, last seconds. You gotta add that drama in there. Is he gonna be able to do it? Is he not gonna be able to do it? We have 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, he did it! Yeah, classic thing. And then the things start to shoot at each other because Maria Hill's like, hey, Kip, get off. And Cap is like, no, shoot it. So they shoot it on each other. They first start to add people on their list, but then it goes down from like 200,000 to like 3. And then the things shoot at each other. However, Winter Soldier now gets trapped. And you know, Cap can't leave his best buddy to die. So he jumps down there in order to lift the thing up. The Winter Soldier gets free and instantly starts to attack Cap. It's like, that's the thanks you get for saving. Wow, okay. So he gets attacked by the Winter Soldier. And then Cap is like, I'm with you till the end of the line. It's like, and that kind of breaks it. But then an explosion happens and Cap falls. And while Bucky's just hanging there, he lands into the water. And meanwhile, while all that stuff is happening, we also have Rumlow and Falcon fighting a little bit. But then the helicarrier comes down, and Rumlow gets caught gets caught by the helicarrier. So basically gets crushed, not to death, but barely, almost to death. And Falcon is running and is like, I'm on the 31st floor. It's like, and Widow's like, alright, stay there. We're coming. It's like, not an option. Just starts running. Jumps out the window. The chopper barely catches him. It's like, 41st floor. It's not like they put them at the outside of the building. And now the day is saved. Yay. We saved the day. And then in the water, we have, because Cap is in the water, he gets grabbed by someone who saves him, which turns out to be Winter Soldier. Saves him and walks off. It's like, thank you. You'll be more important later on. And there you go. The day is saved. Shield's dead. Kind of, but not really, but kind of. Unless the show becomes canon, at which point then no, Shield is not dead. But for now, Shield is basically dead. So everyone needs to get new lives, I guess. Widow is gonna get a new identity. We have Fury, who's gonna go and I don't know, he's dead, so I guess he's gonna look for a new identity as well. We have Maria Hill, who's gonna work for Stark, and Captain America and Falcon are gonna go after Bucky, and that's it. Also, Black Widow gets questioned by, like, I don't know, some people. I forgot who, because I don't live in America, so I don't know who them are, and I also don't know the name for them people. But she gets questioned, and she's like, you know, I don't really care. You can kiss my behind, okay? Look, the world's gonna be in danger again. You're gonna call on us anyway, so just let us walk. We didn't really do anything awful. It was Hydra that did the awful thing. But if you want to arrest us, you're still gonna come to us for help. Which makes me go, hey, is that a nod to Endgame? Or Infinity War, I guess? Is that a nod to Infinity War, where they actually did kind of call upon Captain America with the bad guys then? And that's it. That's the movie. And then in the mid-credit scene, we have someone from Hydra, whose name I forgot, but in Age of Ultron, I'll probably tell you guys. And he's basically talking about Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, about the fact that now the world is not about, like, you know, Hydra versus S.H.I.E.L.D. It's the land of the mystical, or whatever he says. And it's learned that he has Loki's staff, and we get the reveal of Quicksilver and my wife's the Scarlet Witch. And then in the post-credit scenes, we have Bucky in the museum. So it seems like Bucky's gonna learn who he is. And that was the movie, and I thought the movie was absolutely fantastic. I loved every second of this movie. Watching it again after such a long time. That goes for most of the MCU. It's also funny because Iron Man was a disappointment because of the Mandarin reveal. Thor was average at best. And Captain America gets the best movie in the whole MCU. Weird how that worked out. But I absolutely loved the movie. So let me know your spoilery thoughts in the comment section down below. Did you have issues with things? What did you like? What did you not like? Just comment it down below. And thank you all so very much for watching. And I do hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new, if not already. Turn on notifications. And don't forget to check out my Let's Play channel. Link to the description and at the end of the video. And I'll see you guys for whatever comes next. Bye!